Next, on Watch the Damn Tape, we're going to get into Deja Kelly, why she didn't get drafted, and a precautionary tale about the transfer portal. Next. What it do, peeps? It's the B Chef with Watch the Damn Tape. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. New subscribers, I appreciate you joining. Hope you enjoy the show. Old subscribers, thank you for helping me continue to build this platform and push out this content. I got a bunch of friends that live in Dallas, live in the Duncanville area. They were there when Deja won state with the Duncanville Pantherettes. And they wanted to know why Deja did not get selected in the draft this year. I was surprised Deja didn't get selected because Deja's just a baller. But I told them I'd do a show, lay it all out for them so they could really understand it, because they were really bothered by this, especially when they saw players like Griffin get picked and knowing she didn't play a lot of games. Chin when she got drafted, and I told them I'll lay it all out. But take a look at this first. Now, one thing about Deja, when she was at Duncanville, she shot 47% from the field. Throughout her college career at North Carolina, this is what Deja shot. Now, those numbers aren't spectacular. If you shot 47% in high school, was a McDonald's High School All-American, and you're hovering around the mid-30s for the majority of your career, you're a career 36% shooter, even with Oregon. That alone, and your three-point shooting is suspect. So, like I told my friends, Tania Latson was at Florida State for 3 years. These are Tania's numbers, and they're basically the identical, about the same size, 5'8", and those shifty guards that can get to the rim. These are Tania stats. Tania shoots in the mid 40s, low 30s on three, which she can improve on that. But she can shoot, and a consistent shooter. Look through her career. One thing about going in the portal, if you're going to go in the portal early in your career. Don't go in the portal at the end of your career in college. That's number one. But when you go in the portal and you come out that portal, if you were at a level 2, when you get to that next school, you need to be at a 3 and a 4. And it needs to be an upward trajectory for the rest of your duration in college. And Deja's career was a flat line. And when she went to Oregon, the number 2 thing, besides the low shooting, which was her going to the W. In the W, you're going to stretch in pro basketball, you're going to stretch the court firing up threes. You're not a shooter, period. Not a good shooter, period. And you're terrible in the 20s shooting threes in college. So nobody's going to respect you at that 3-point line. They'll just let you sit out there and sag off and help some other defender. You got to be able to hit a shot. to go with that athletic ability that get to the rack. They know you're going to try to go to the rack. They're going to clamp that up. You must elevate your game. When you go into the portal, this is for everybody that's in school. You go into the portal and you want to make a change, make it early. And when you get to the other school, you damn sure better be on the upward trajectory. That's that. Thin skinned. When she was at North Carolina, when she was leaving, she said a bunch of things about the program. She said she dogged the men's and the women's program out and said, like it was a toxic environment. And at times she felt like she didn't want to play anymore. They got beat. They got their butts whooped by South Carolina in the tournament. The last time South Carolina won the title. She was 2-13. And they were giving her the business. They were giving her the business, and rightfully so. You're an athlete. They're cheering you on. They want to see a winner. There was other stuff that went on at North Carolina, because, like I said, she's a journalism major. She's playing in both worlds. She's even reporting on her own team, the men's team, all the sports at North Carolina. But leaving that school and saying that you left and saying that you almost wanted to quit, a professional team does not want to hear a person say they were thinking about quitting because of toxic fandom and things that were said online. Professional players hear it all the time. All the time. So that didn't bode well in her favor when she did that. And she even said, she said that let me find it. She said it. It was kind of wild that you put that out there, that you didn't it's tough. But this is what Deja said. She said, there was times last year where I was like, I do not want to go to practice, she said, because I was just so mentally drained at that point. And of course, again, our own fan base was toxic. Not at all, but the majority. So that was tough. And then, UNC responded and they said, hey man, we love Deja. She did so many things. So many fans love her. Stuff like that. And, but she was getting work from the opposing team as well. Keep in mind, so you go to the portal. Like I said, you must elevate your game. So she's going to Oregon. Oregon needs guards. You need to elevate the Oregon program. Second round of the playoffs. And then they have a first round. It was great. Second round, they play Duke. Duke remembers Deja. Duke would give Deja that work as well. So they start dogging her out all during the game. Duke's best player is a freshman and she's not playing. Oregon loses that game. Deja didn't elevate. Had Deja elevated her play, even in the tournament, and made a deep run, Elite 8, Sweet 16, get to the next round and ball out, even if you lost to the next round. But Deja only scored 20. In that game against Duke, she needed to go for 30 to 35 points and do it effectively and put the team on her back, because you have to show the league that you went to Oregon to get to the league. And that goes to my last point, and this is probably the biggest one. You can't serve two masters. Are you a basketball player or are you a media personality? And it's hard to do both. And a professional team wants a professional commitment. That's the reason why I give Angel Reese a lot of flack. But one thing, I never talk about Angel making money and hustling and getting her money. But one thing Angel did correctly, She started her podcast after she was on the job. She didn't have a podcast before she was playing and coming into the league. They just don't look at you serious like that. You know, Draymond Green's got a podcast and he's on the downside of his career. He can get away with it sometimes, but fans still give him hell about that podcast. If he has a bad game or the team's losing, they expect you to come back out and show accountability. The league expects you to be accountable. Running from North Carolina to Oregon didn't show accountability. And this was your last stop. This wasn't like you were a freshman or a sophomore. That's why I said, if you're going to hit the portal, hit it early. Don't hit it late. And you damn sure don't want to hit the portal on a downswing looking to bounce back at another school. It ain't going to bode well in the future. And that's what got Deja with this one. I mean, when she was talking to Oregon, she even asked them, could she do both? And they pulled some strings and got her with the Big Ten Network. And she was even covering games. She was covering the men's game before her game. So, once again, you're not locked in. How are you doing a report? And I remember this during the season. She's doing reports on one team, and then you got a game to play. You're not all in, and you're reporting on your own team. Whether the criticism was mild or no criticism at all, they don't want that in the WNBA locker room. They don't want a person that's, okay, well, when I get off this, I'm going to go to Fox and do a show. Or I'm going to do my podcast, which is through Bleacher Report or some other agency or entity. They don't want that in their locker room. The lack of growth from freshman year to fifth year senior, it was no growth. It was a steady, consistent play at a lower level. That's not pro. And that's the reason why Deja Kelly was not drafted. The portal was a play to get away from accountability. And you can never run from accountability. Accountability gonna catch up. And if you noticed, you haven't seen Deja on anything. You ain't TikToking. You ain't posting on Instagram. The last thing was that draft. That's the last memory from college that she will have is they invited 16 players to the draft. Deja Kelly was not one of those players. But they let her get on that carpet because she's basically a media personality, basically a reporter. So they allowed her to get on there. She was glamorous, glammed up to the T. You saw the video. But you didn't get drafted. And she even said in the videos before that, oh, when I hear my name called, if you're a reporter and you're a savvy one, this was a life lesson that she gonna take with her forever. There's only 13 teams. You could have gauged where you were at and where your draft stock was by contacting any one of those teams, the league getting fillers. All players do it in other sports. They get evaluations of themselves in the NFL all the time. College basketball, what do I need to work on? They tell them if they're not draftable. There was only 38 spots. It's only 38 spots. This was a guard-heavy draft with a lot of competition, a lot of bigs that were athletic, and a lot of foreign players. People were going to get slid down. If Olivia Miles, Aoki Lee, and a few other players were in this draft, there would have been even more slides. You wouldn't have seen Caitlin Chen. You wouldn't have seen Audrey Griffin get drafted if a couple of other players were there. This just 2 or 3 players made the difference in this draft. Period, point blank. So you probably would have been better off coming out last year off of North Carolina, and then in the summer or in the off season, go work at Oregon or go work somewhere else and work on your post craft, your post career craft. But now you will be covering the WNBA. You will make it to the WNBA because you're going to be covering them. Deja's got a face for TV, got a hell of a look. That look gonna carry her far in that because most of the network personalities, let's face it, they all look decent, attractive women. So Deja gonna fit right in, and she's knowledgeable on the sport. She'll have no problem with the transition. Her money's gonna be behind the camera. It's not gonna be shooting 3-pointers. I wish she'd get on with somewhere. I wish she would go overseas, but if she goes overseas, she spoke in numerous articles about the NIL money, and she's got a lot of endorsements. All that dwindles if she goes overseas and becomes irrelevant. It's only good in America. She'll make money overseas, but them endorsements will dry up. She needs them endorsements. So you'll be seeing Deja Kelly on TV, not covering the WNBA. Let me know your thoughts, and until next time, folks, peace.